massive, mysterious, and in many ways, magical. These are just a few words that can be used to describe life on this big blue world we call home, but only certain animals can be called all three. The dinosaurs. Massive in stature, mysterious in nature, and magical in every sense of the word. Even eons after their death, they are still very much alive in the present day. All we know from them comes from what they leave behind. Fossils, imprints, even mummies are among the various ways we can learn more about them. And specific kinds of scientists, called paleontologists, are the ones who study these remains. But these are extinct animals. Learning about them gives us insights into a world that isn't really here anymore. So, why do dinosaurs matter? This question has been asked by a lot of people, and a lot of answers have been given to it. Here's a few. They give us insights into Earth's history. They help us understand extinction and how to avoid our own. They enable us to learn about plate tectonics and how they move. And they play a key role in how we study biogeography and ecology. All of these things have much wider applications in several other scientific fields. Fields that affect not just how we understand the world, but how we live in it. But what if I told you that they were even more important than that? That ever since the first dinosaur was uncovered 200 years ago, dinosaurs have changed our world in ways we can't even imagine. Not through science, but through art. Throughout this video, we'll take a look at how dinosaurs shaped the creative industry and those who are involved in it. So hold on to your butts and get ready for our first stop. The very first time a dinosaur appeared on screen was in 1914 in a film titled Gertie the Dinosaur. Not only was this the first dinosaur in video media, but it was one of the first animations of all time, and was placed at number 6 of the greatest cartoons of all time in 1994. But why was it special? It comes down to the cartoonist and animator who made it, Winsor McCay. He was a big deal at the time, and he was the pioneer of animation techniques such as keyframes, registration marks, tracing paper, the mutoscope, and animation loops. These techniques weren't just used back then either. Even today they're still being used in every film that has animation, from Sharknado to Spider-Verse. The film itself follows a sauropod named Gertie as she performs tricks and navigates the world. It was only about 5 minutes, but consisted of 10,000 plus drawings done by McCay by hand. But Gertie wasn't important just because of the techniques used in her film. She also inspired some of the greats in the animation industry. This includes Fleischer Studios, who produced Popeye the Sailor, and the first Technicolor animation of Superman. It also inspired Walter Lantz, who created Woody Woodpecker. And on top of all of that, Gertie the Dinosaur was a massive inspiration for Walt Disney himself, who was only a teenager when the short film was released. The allure of dinosaurs is what pushed McCay to make the film. Well, that and constant criticism from his peers. Before Gertie, he made an animated sequence of how a mosquito sucks the blood from a sleeping man. The animation was so lifelike that people swore he traced photographs or used some other trick of the eye. To prove otherwise, he resorted to creatures that were not only unable to be photographed, but unable to be seen with the human eye whatsoever: dinosaurs. But this is just one example, and we have a lot more to cover. Much later, following the release of notable dinosaur-inclusive films like The Lost World in 1925 and King Kong in 1933, a new genre started to rise up from the depths of creativity and prehistoric research. These were creature features. And one of the first big films in this continued trend of giant monsters rampaging through civilization is titled The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. It stars a kind of dinosaur-like animal, which the film calls Rhedosaurus, waking up from atomic bomb tests in the Arctic and traveling through New York, leaving a path of destruction in its wake. This film, along with the success of others like it, inspired the creation of the biggest name in the genre, Gojira. As you may know him, Godzilla, King of the Monsters. The creator of the franchise, Tomoyuki Tanaka, was largely driven by the Rhedosaurus, along with the concept of dinosaurs in general. And it's because of this that we have such large sources of entertainment in the present. Everything from the Monsterverse, Pacific Rim, even Cloverfield, all came from the concepts behind Rhedosaurus and Godzilla, and by extension the concept of dinosaurs. We knew way less about prehistoric life than we do now, so they were shrouded in even more mystery. making them incredibly interesting to filmmakers. The existence of dinosaurs grew generations upon generations of creative minds that wanted to show the world things they had never seen before, all through the medium of dinosaurs, be it producers willing to put effort into dinosaur-centered stories, sound designers recreating the roar of a T-Rex, animators motivated to capture the realistic movements of a sauropod. You start to realize how much dinosaurs did for entertainment as a whole. And while dinosaurs were certainly a huge part of the advancement of animation in 1914, they were also a massive stepping stone in the improvement of visual effects animation in live-action films as well. Which brings us to our next stop, Jurassic Park. Many who were around during the time of the film's release can recall how incredible it is to see a dinosaur walk across a theater screen. It was also a first time for most of the public to see dinosaurs in a light that wasn't childish or unserious. The film itself was based on a best-selling book written by Michael Crichton. The movie's director, Steven Spielberg, was a fan of Crichton's before the book was released. The novel and the movie both focus on a cautionary tale in regards to scientific powers, specifically genetic engineering. Spielberg was also heavily influenced and inspired by the American release of the 1954 Godzilla film. Quite ironic, seen as the largest Japanese-produced Godzilla film, Godzilla -1, has several scenes inspired by those in Spielberg's films. It seems dinosaur creative influence is a little bit cyclical, but what I want to get at here is how the dinosaurs were brought to screen. Despite being 30 plus years old, the film was able to blend CGI and practical effects in ways that even modern films struggle with, including those in the Jurassic franchise. Spielberg worked with Industrial Light and Magic, ILM for short, to create the CGI, with Stan Winston working on the physical dinosaur models and animatronics. Both practical and digital industries were improved throughout the making of Jurassic Park, with various techniques being created for both. It's marked as one of the first major uses of CGI that's realistic and believable, so much so that it holds up well even in the present day. It set a new standard for what can be accomplished with digital effects, pushing the boundaries of what was previously thought possible. Autodesk Maya, a digital animation software, was largely used to accomplish this, and the demands of Jurassic Park alone propelled the software forward into faster development, new advancements, and rapidly grew job openings for computer animators during the time. Maya remains as the industry standard to this day. For practical effects, it gave more hope that prop and animatronic artists still had a place in the field. During the time, worries were growing that CGI would replace the need for any other special effects work.
So what are you thinking?
We're out of a job. Don't you mean extinct?
But Jurassic Park showed us that there was room for coexistence. It inspired practical effects work in films like Starship Troopers, The Lord of the Rings, and of course other dinosaur films, both within the Jurassic franchise and outside of it. Jurassic Park's impact wasn't just technological either, it was also cultural. The film reignited public interest in dinosaurs, inspiring a new generation of not only paleontologists, but filmmakers and artists who went on to work on the most successful films known today. Jurassic Park paved the way for new creatives in ways that no media ever has, and we have dinosaurs to thank for it. The sense of both awe and fear ignited by new fossil discoveries are what makes these animals such a draw for storytellers. This doesn't go for only fictional media either. Documentaries around dinosaurs have been a major source of entertainment and knowledge for those of us who want to see dinosaurs as the animals that they were, while pop culture constantly tried to promote the idea of dinosaurs as mindless killing machines. Educational shows and films have been fighting to push that narrative back. Walking with Dinosaurs and Prehistoric Planet are the most popular of the genre, and they've done a lot to change public perception of prehistoric animals. But on top of this, they've used dinosaurs as a medium for education. This has been a tactic for decades, and not just for science, or for adults. Look, kids love dinosaurs, well, most of them anyway, and including them as part of teaching plans, regardless of the subject, has proven results to give kids motivation to learn. It worked on me at least. Slap a T-Rex on some multiplication worksheets and I'm pretty much hooked. And I can't be the only one either. Dinosaurs have also been used to teach more emotionally intelligent lessons. The Land Before Time, for example, uses prehistoric life as a way to teach its viewers about life, death, the power of friendship, grief, and most importantly, hope. The point is, dinosaurs can and have been used as tools for conveying concepts much bigger than any sauropod. And they're part of our world, specifically our entertainment, in ways we'd never really thought about. And if there's anything we've learned about entertainment in recent years, it's that it's one of the few breaths of fresh air we're able to get in this crazy world of ours. So maybe it is more essential than we give it credit for. Not to mention all the ways dinosaurs have indirectly influenced the media we consume. Through design, concept, or story, dinosaurs are everywhere if you look. Think of every dragon design that has ever appeared in media and folklore. It doesn't take much extrapolation to see how dinosaurs have influenced a large majority of them. Several species in the How to Train Your Dragon franchise take design hints from dinosaurs. Astrid's dragon, the Deadly Natter, carries itself like a giant velociraptor, balancing its head with a long tail. The Gronkel share similarities with ankylosaurs, specifically their clubbed tails. Or take Game of Thrones. I haven't watched the show, but the dragon designs are super reminiscent of theropod dinosaurs, especially Drogon. The way his head is shaped to give him binocular vision is nearly identical with Tyrannosaurus rex. Even Dan Catcher, one of the VFX artists on the show, noted that T-Rex vertebrae were used directly for Drogon's neck. There's also Caraxes from House of the Dragon, who has horns above his eyes similar to Carnotaurus. In the video game world, we have Charmander and Charmeleon from Pokemon, who hold themselves in a way that resembles how we used to think dinosaurs walked, not to mention the countless other obviously dinosaur-themed Pokemon. There's also numerous dinosaur-ish creatures from Monster Hunter. Anjanath has crests straight from a Dilophosaurus, and it, along with Deviljho, are both super inspired from T-Rex, and Diablos has some obvious Triceratops-esque horns, along with countless other dinosaur-shaped creatures. We also have Ridley from Metroid, who's basically a Pteranodon on steroids, and while Pteranodon isn't a dinosaur per se, I'm still counting it here. And Horizon Zero Dawn includes several design choices that resemble theropods and sauropods. So yeah, dinosaurs show up a lot more than you think if you keep your eyes peeled. And remember that all these pieces of media need a team of people in order for them to become a reality. And these people's lives are dependent on these projects performing well and earning a revenue. So, in a weird way, dinosaurs are creating jobs for people, eons after their death. That's pretty cool. Many talk about how paleontology, specifically the dinosaur parts of it, are a huge gateway science for kids, and that's true. Many kids who are interested in dinosaurs tend to grow up smarter and lean towards science-driven jobs, but that's only half of the story. As much as dinosaur-loving kids grow up learning about them, they also often grow up drawing them. What typically happens is they lean more towards either the educational or creative side, and their careers end up reflecting that. And I know that because I was a dinosaur kid. I drew them in sketchbooks and read about them in libraries, and as I matured, so did my obsession with prehistoric animals. I widened my passion from just dinosaurs to all extinct animals, and I began to lean into illustration and video creation, using prehistoric life as my medium. That's why I'm here, talking to you now. I started this channel as an outlet for my dinosaur-oriented creativity, and it was also a huge part of what made me understand my interest in art as a career. Fast forward to now, and I'm pursuing a degree in digital animation, thanks to the media I've mentioned above, and I'd be willing to bet that some of you watching have had similar experiences. Dinosaurs are a huge part of my hobbies, career, life, even my Christian faith. From my point of view, dinosaurs are one of the greatest showcases of God's creativity and power, but I digress. What I'm trying to say here throughout this entire video is that dinosaurs are worth more than we give them credit for. And maybe you knew that already, but I hope this video helps you see some things that maybe you didn't before. So now, as we continue towards the future and even more dinosaurs are uncovered, we can learn from them in both an artistic and scientific sense, helping shape the media we consume and inspiring more generations of artists with the awe that comes from dinosaur discoveries. Creative projects featuring prehistoric animals are at an all-time high right now, so we have a lot to look forward to. Let's take a peek at some upcoming media centered around dinosaurs. First up is Talon. This is an independently made 2D animated series, still in the process of being produced, following the story of a young Dakota raptor named Talon as she joins an otherworldly wizard on a quest to find 7 other supernaturally powered champions like herself and save their world from a sinister alien threat. The visual style is described as a mix between The Land Before Time and Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it looks awesome. The animations are beautiful, striking the fictional fantasy tone while still having accurate dinosaur designs within that lens. The music, which you're hearing right now, matches the tone of the series perfectly and sounds absolutely fantastic. Help this project become a reality through the links in the description. Next is Primitive War, a film adaptation of the novel by Ethan Pettis, which follows a group of Green Beret soldiers during the Vietnam War, trying to survive in a dinosaur-infested forest. Another one is Dinosaur Empire, a story-focused series centered around Ceratosaurus. The team producing it has some of the most creative and skilled minds when it comes to dinosaurs, so keep your eyes open for when they release their Kickstarter campaign. There's also a film in production titled Flowervale Street, directed by David Robert, who also directed It Follows. The film features Ewan McGregor and Anne Hathaway. Sources once said that dinosaurs would be in the film, but other sources say otherwise. It's a bit of a mixed bag, but it's produced by Bad Robot, who also did the Cloverfield trilogy, so I'm pretty excited. There's also Primal Season 3, which we know won't focus on Spear and Fang and will instead be an anthology. Last for movies, we have Jurassic World Rebirth, directed by Gareth Edwards with an awesome cast including Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali. The script is even written by David Coep, author of the original Jurassic Park and Lost World scripts, so be on the lookout for any trailers and its release in summer of 2025. For the more educational side of things, we're getting Walking with Dinosaurs 2 next year. We already have some cool dinosaurs confirmed for the series, like T-Rex, Triceratops, Utahraptor, Gastonia, Lusotitan, and even Spinosaurus. It's also possible we'll get Prehistoric Planet Season 3, given the success of the first 2 seasons. We'll see. Where dinosaurs have really been thriving though is video games. Dinosaur games are being made all the time, and we have some seriously cool ones on the way. Let's take a look. First up is Primeval Horizon. I mentioned this before in my Ceratosaurus video, but I want to mention it again here since this may end up performing better. Primeval Horizon is similar in concept to games like The Isle and Path of Titans, but from my experience as a member in their Discord and part of their quality assurance team, it's going to do some really cool things to separate itself. Having a focus on story is key here, as we're also getting aliens and other supernatural entities in the game. The concept art for this also looks really cool. We're also getting a lot of underrated animals to play as. Check out the Discord server and Patreon to support the project and unlock prizes like this awesome Arcane skin. Even more story focused is Kyoryu, a game still in the concept/development phase, but we know it'll be set in a post-apocalyptic Japan, following Yama and Tori, a father and son Tyrannosaurus duo. The trailer, concept art, and inside looks with the team constantly prove how beautiful and creative this project will be. The name comes from the Japanese word for dinosaur, which translates back to English as fear dragon, which might be the coolest thing you've heard all week. Check out their Patreon, website, and Discord server in the description to support Kyoryu. In the spooky scary world, we've got The Lost Wild, slated for a late 2024/early 2025 release. It's a survival horror adventure about overcoming nature on an isolated island. Explore overgrown research facilities and jungle terrain as you search to uncover mysteries about the island and its prehistoric inhabitants. In a similar vein is Instinction. With a more emotional core and narrative focus, we'll be playing as Izzy, exploring ancient ruins, villages, and of course, encountering dinosaurs along the way. Terrible Lizards is another horror-themed dino game, but instead centers around a Route 66 attraction. With elements similar to Five Nights at Freddy's, it looks pretty awesome. For a bit of nostalgia, there's also Dino Run 2 in production. This is going to be miles ahead of the first game, as you can see with these concepts. There's no release date as it's still being crowdfunded, so check out their site to donate. Jurassic Park Survival is last on the games list, following the character Maya Joshi after being stranded on Jurassic Park. You'll have to survive on Isla Nublar and hopefully find a way off of it, encountering a variety of dinosaurs along the way. We're also getting Rift by Thomas Asher, a hard sci-fi novel with themes of science horror, zoology, and of course, the end of the world with a side of dinosaurs. Find out just what kind of prehistoric madness is about to go down by joining the Rift Discord and get updates on the novel, which is set to release this year. I hope you're as excited as I am, because these next few years are going to be pretty awesome, and I for one cannot wait for all these projects to come to life. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to see more like it and more not like it, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Join the Discord to continue the conversation, and head over to twitch.tv/paleoentertainment to hang out live. Love y'all, and as always, keep your pencils sharp.